is Game of Thrones. But we did get some great GOT vibes that we used to before Season 8 f***ed it up. There are several questions that people have been left asking after the first episode. And one of those is about the connection between Daenerys Targaryen and the new heir to the Iron Throne, Rhaenyra. Apparently, a lot of you have been inquiring about whether Dany is connected to Rhaenyra in some way. Well, you obviously know that this is Game of Thrones lore, so incest is a big part of it. In that way, almost everyone in the Targaryen family is related to each other. But yes, to answer your question, Dany is directly connected to Rhaenyra, as she is Dany's ancestor. Rhaenyra is Dany's great-great-great. Well, you actually need to add great 6 times to the concept of grandparents because she is Dany's 6th great-grandmother. That means Rhaenyra's father Viserys I is Dany's 7th great-grandfather. As the show revealed, Rhaenyra and Dany are separated by 172 years. And Dany's 6th great-grandfather is a bit of a spoiler for the story of House of the Dragon. So, you could leave the video right here if you don't want to know who Rhaenyra is ultimately going to marry. But I'd recommend you guys to stay and hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to explain the family tree of the Targaryens. There are over 50 names involved in this family tree, so I won't be looking at each and every one of them. But I will talk about some of the most important ones that could also be seen in House of the Dragon. So first up, we've got Aegon Targaryen, who is also known as Aegon the Conqueror. He became the first Targaryen king, and the Iron Throne was forged for him. As per family tradition, he married his older sister, Visenya Targaryen. They gave birth to Maegor I, who also came to be called Maegor the Cruel. Then later, Aegon also married his younger sister Rhaenys, and they gave birth to Prince Aenys I. From there on, Aenys Targaryen married Alyssa Velaryon, and these two had 6 children together, 3 daughters and 3 sons. One of those was Jaehaerys I. He was Aenys and Alyssa's 3rd son and 4th child in order. And he went on to become the greatest Targaryen ruler. Under his rule, the Targaryens grew insanely powerful, and the 7 kingdoms saw peace and prosperity. He came to be called Jaehaerys the Wise.
In those days, House Targaryen stood at the height of its strength, with 10 adult dragons under its yoke. No power in the world could stand against it.
He married his younger sister Alysanne Targaryen. Sadly, he outlived all his children, and as the series revealed, his sons Aemon and Balon died before him.
King Jaehaerys reigned over nearly 60 years of peace and prosperity, but tragedy had claimed both his sons, leaving his succession in doubt.
Before his demise, Aemon Targaryen married Jocelyn Baratheon, and they gave birth to Princess Rhaenys. Meanwhile, Balon Targaryen married his sister Alyssa. They gave birth to 2 sons, Viserys and Daemon Targaryen. His demise. Viserys and Alicent Hightower gave birth to 4 more children, Aegon II, Helaena, Aemond, and Daeron Targaryen. But this side of the Targaryen family tree is not very important in the context of this video, as we're drawing a roadmap to Daenerys Targaryen, and that comes from Rhaenyra Targaryen, whose younger version is played by Millie Alcock in the first episode. Then later, Emma Darcy is going to play the older version of the character. She first got married to Laenor Velaryon, who is the son of Rhaenys and her husband, Corlys Velaryon. Laenor and Rhaenys bore 3 children, Jacaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey. But again, they're not important here. Meanwhile, Daemon the Rogue Prince was married to Laena Velaryon, the daughter of Rhaenys and Corlys. They had 2 daughters, Rhaena and Baela, who are again not important for now. What's important is that later on, Uncle Daemon and Rhaenyra got married in secret.
Now, you and I both own a small piece of our ancestry.
This is where the roadmap to Dany continues. Besides a stillborn child, Rhaenyra and Daemon bore 2 children, Viserys II and Aegon III. Among these 2, Aegon III's family line is not important even though he bore 5 children. So let's focus on Viserys II. He married Lara Rogaray and gave birth to 3 children, Aemon, Nerys, and Aegon IV. Then Aegon IV, who came to be called Aegon the Unworthy, married his sister Nerys. They had 2 children, Daenerys and Daeron II, aka Daeron the Good. Now don't get confused, this Daenerys is not the one we know. She comes after 4 more generations of Targaryens. Continuing on that path, Daeron II married Miriah Martell. They gave birth to 4 more Targaryen children, Baelor, Aerys I, Rhaegal, and Maegor I. Out of them, Maegor is the most crucial one. He married Diana Dane and bore 6 children, but I won't name all of them. They have already been too many names in this video, and I want to keep you on track with only the important ones. Maker's 4th son was Aegon V, who was also called Aegon the Fortunate. He married Betha Blackwood and had 5 children. Out of them, Jaehaerys II turned out to be the most important one. He married his sister Shaera, and they gave birth to 2 children, Aerys II and Rhaela. Now this is where the story of Game of Thrones began. Aerys II grew up to be the Mad King, and he also married his sister Rhaela. Besides 2 stillborns, Rhaela and Mad Aerys had 3 children, Rhaegar Targaryen, Viserys Targaryen, and Daenerys Targaryen. Dany was first wedded to Khal Drogo, who killed her brother Viserys by giving him a crown of gold. Then she had Daario Naharis as her boy toy before finally mating with Jon Snow. And as we all know, the biggest reveal of Game of Thrones was that Jon Snow wasn't Ned Stark's bastard. The king in the north was actually the son of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen, who is the older brother of Daenerys. So, he was the nephew of Daenerys, and his true name is Aegon Targaryen.
His name is Aegon Targaryen.
There's never been a bastard. He's the heir to the Iron Throne.
He is the last surviving Targaryen, while Drogon is the last surviving dragon. But obviously, he has been exiled, and Bran Stark was the one who sat on the Iron Throne in the end. So the story of Targaryens truly began with an Aegon Targaryen, and it also ended with an Aegon Targaryen. But the point to be noted here is that Game of Thrones made a big change to the source material. In George R.R. Martin's book, Aegon Targaryen is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen, and Aelia Martell, and not Lyanna Stark. So we may get a few retcons in House of Dragon as well, because otherwise, ardent fans of George R.R. Martin's 6 books would know most of the twists and turns. But let's wait and see how many generations get touched within these 172 years before Dany's birth. I hope you guys were able to get a good sense of how Daemon and Rhaenyra are connected to Daenerys Targaryen, and even Jon Snow now. So hit the like button if you enjoyed our analysis. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!